Alright, YouTube, pictures and video have surfaced of Malia Obama, Obama's older daughter, apparently smoking marijuana at Lollapalooza, or a funny cigarette of some kind. My first reaction was so. My next reaction was, so what? Marijuana should not be illegal in this country. I don't care. Also, keep in mind, this is the daughter of the president. She's not holding an elected position. She's not a politician. She's just a kid. She's a teenager. Uh, I don't fucking care. Secondly, at most she's like a celebrity figure more than like someone directly connected with politics. Yeah, I realize, oh, okay, she's Obama's daughter, but at the same time, if one of the lesser Bush brothers gets like hammered and goes and gets a DUI, does it mean that the rest of the Bushes automatically they're associated with that? No. They make their own decisions. This is not Barack Obama smoking weed. And I know the immediate reaction would be one of two things from those that generally don't like Obama. Either this shows his poor parenting, which Obama smoked weed. He realizes I smoked weed years ago. He realizes it's not really harmful, so he doesn't care. Like any sane, reasonable person wouldn't really give a crap if their kid's smoking marijuana because it's not really gonna hurt him. It doesn't, honestly. Who cares? Or second, well, marijuana is the devil's weed. It's like a gateway drug, which is totally false. It's been totally discredited over time. I just don't give a crap. Alcohol. If I were like Barack Obama, I'd be much more worried if she were smoking tobacco or drinking alcohol because the former really fucks up your health and really is addictive. The latter is also really addictive and potentially makes you do stupid shit. Whereas marijuana, mostly maybe you get a little bit more into the music, I guess, at like a musical festival, and then ultimately you like pass out, you fucking fall asleep, or you eat Twinkies or something. Well, we almost know Michelle Obama's certainly not going to let her daughter eat Twinkies, and the Twinkies probably would be more unhealthy than the marijuana, honestly. So why would I care? Now, this is a total non-issue. But people are making a big deal about it as though it shows some sort of problem. No, I think the problem that it shows is that Obama's out of touch and a hypocrite because he continues the drug war. He hasn't ended it. He hasn't made any real attempt to scale back the drug war other than on dispensaries for medical pot. Here's his daughter apparently smoking marijuana, not suffering any repercussions for it. Whereas there are hundreds of thousands of people in this country who have prison records or are in prison for doing exactly the same thing. He won't commute their sentences. He won't let them go. He lets a few go here and there, makes a big show about it as though he's some great big progressive master of all the future. And it's just a lie. It's just a farce, really. In reality, the Democratic Party wants to continue the drug war. The Republican Party wants to continue the drug war. There's a reason that I don't support the two-party system. Because this is one of the worst policies we've ever had. It's the worst policy we've currently got in effect other than maybe mass surveillance. It's also one of the most unconstitutional. Again, it would be roughly tied with domestic mass surveillance insofar as it violates the constitutional rights of citizens. It explicitly violates the Fourth Amendment. It explicitly, on the federal drug policy, explicitly violates the 10th Amendment. And I think it's utterly retarded. I think it should just be illegal. I think that all substances should be at least decriminalized. So I don't really fault her for smoking marijuana. Now, if she were like doing underage drinking or something, that would be more of an issue. That would show, well, Obama, you need to step it up here as far as being there and giving them a stern talking to. As far as pot goes, who gives a crap? I know. And the other thing I think people say as well, if one of Trump's kids was caught smoking pot or something, there'd be hell to pay from the media. Yeah, probably. Almost certainly. They would question his parenting. They'd say, oh, well, he's like supposedly this drug warrior, never even drank alcohol, and then look at what his kid's doing. I understand that, but you got to realize Obama and Trump on that issue differ greatly. Obama openly admits that he's snorted coke. He's smoked pot before. He did inhale, and as an aside said that was kind of the point. Even though he hasn't really made any overture to ending the drug war, the disastrous policy that it is, because he gets funded by the prison complexes and law enforcement stuff. It's the same as Hillary or Trump. He's never going to do anything to end the drug war. The Libertarian Party wants to. The Green Party wants to. The Democrats and Republicans, no, because they're reliant upon gifts and donations from law enforcement lobbies. Not the little law enforcement guys. The average beat cop, I will hazard a guess here. I will predict that the average beat cop doesn't want to see drugs continue to be illegal, because they don't want to constantly be distracted from going after the murderer, the rapist, the pedophile, the car thief or something. They don't want to be distracted from that and get sent to a dealer's house or get sent out to beat on some hippies, because it's just a waste of money. It's a waste of their time. It forces them into stressful situations that they really don't need to be involved in. So I think there's a disconnect between like the corporate prison lobby and the higher up, like the upper brass of metro police forces, and the average sheriff, the average beat cop or something like that. I think there's a huge disconnect between the two, because it obviously doesn't benefit law enforcement to have to throw these people in jail. It doesn't benefit the guards in these corporate prisons. Then they have to deal with overcrowding. The only people it benefits are the politicians and the groups that are funneling money to them that actually run the system in the style of management. You know, the CEOs and so forth of these complexes. They're the ones in favor of the drug war. The rest of them, no, I don't think that they are. That's why I try to cut some slack to the if somebody's just a regular beat cop, I like to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they'd probably rather not be doing this if they're beating on some drug user. I will give them the benefit of the doubt there. I know that they get a bad rap, but ultimately I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's just like law enforcement, when polled the last time around Sandy Hook, the vast majority didn't want additional gun control. I said it wouldn't do anything. Now you ask the higher brass, they all seem to be for it because they're funding people like Obama and Hillary Clinton. You ask the regular average Joe cop, or certainly the sheriffs in the United States, they'll say, no, we probably need less gun control. They're openly advocating that citizens arm themselves because it makes their job easier. It's a lot easier to show up to a burglary when the burglar has already had their head blown off than one that is active and in progress because the person was disarmed. Likewise with marijuana and all of these drugs, the average person in this country, I think, understands the drug war has been an abysmal failure. Obama's problem is he's a hypocrite on this, hasn't done anything. But I'm not going to fault his daughter for smoking weed because she's smart enough to know marijuana's not going to fuck me up. It's just marijuana. Half the population's tried it. A good 20 to 25% of them use it fairly regularly. Now, I don't see 25% of the U.S. population wandering around like zombies, unable to even clean their own ass. So I think it's probably not the devil's weed. It's just literally a plant. I know that sort of point gets a little old. There are people that are like, they're totally habituated to it. They smoke it constantly. Like, hey man, it's just a plant. Well, I haven't smoked marijuana in, half a decade or so. It's just a plant. I don't have any cravings for it. I don't have withdrawal symptoms. I like to think that I'm intelligent and coherent and didn't get screwed up, and I use things that were a lot more strong than marijuana, by the way. So, no, who cares? Who has a problem with this? You have to be a severe moralist, really, to give a fuck, honestly. I think it's a bigger moral violation by our society that we throw people in prison for smoking a joint than that they're smoking the joint in the first place. It's just retarded drug policy. That's about all. Peace out.